Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about having enough time to practice to get good with women. And I hear this a lot, that people don't have enough time, that guys don't have enough time. So stay to the end and I'll give you some great tips that'll help you be able to find the time. Subscribe below, click the bell for notifications so you won't miss new videos on this subject. So having enough time. So really what having enough time is about is, it's not really about having enough time, because consistency is the key, not quantity. So when you want to learn to get good with women, there's a couple of things you want to do. You want to do the inner stuff and the outer stuff, stuff in the external world. The outer stuff, going out and doing approaching, talking to women, you can do that for as little as 15 minutes a day, maybe 5-6 days a week. But 15 minutes is really not that great a time commitment, and that's if you're doing that, most days of the week. And as for the inner stuff, I give people 2-minute grounding exercises, 2-minute letting go exercises on audio, which I will put in the link below. And I also have a 7-minute grounding that you can do. And 7-minute grounding exercise once a day is not really that much time, right? And even if you're doing the 2-minute 5 times, that's only 10 minutes. So really, you do that for 10 minutes, you've got 15 minutes doing approaches, maybe do 15 minutes of releasing per day. You can do releasing, grounding, and approaching for about, including, if you have somewhere to go that's only a few minutes from your house, you can do all of it in less than an hour a day. So, and some of those things you don't have to do every single day. The grounding I recommend to do every day. So it means that the time is there, you're just not finding it. So, because I think it's not really about the time per se, it's about being able to establish a new habit, because you want it to become a habit so you can do it every day. And you also want to be able to have it not be a big chore to do, right? So it's just something that you do, it's part of your life. And part of it not being a chore is that you're dedicated to it. It's good to enjoy doing it. So going out and doing approachings, you kind of need to enjoy doing it, or it's going to be really hard to keep doing. And really the same for the grounding and letting go. You need to enjoy it at least somewhat. And even if you don't enjoy that, you want to be committed to the outcome, knowing that it'll allow you to be able to attract the women that you want, and that you'll be good with women, that you'll build the confidence and the masculinity that you need. So building confidence and masculinity takes time. It's just like working out in the gym. You've got to do it, several times a week, if not more, and then you will gradually get better and better at it. You'll have bumps sometimes, just like you do with working out, where you'll have a lot of growth all at once, and that totally happens. But overall, you're going to get slow growth over time, so consistency is really the key, and being patient and not being super connected to the outcome, and not being impatient with it, and not being having expectations about it. So if you can walk into it without the expectations that you're going to immediately change, that you're going to immediately have all these women, that it's going to happen in one day, that will really help. That will really help. And also, I want to say something about commitment. So if you're starting something new and you don't immediately love doing all the parts of it, like I said, then you need to be committed to it, because you're going to have to put forth a little bit of willpower to get yourself to do it. And I know that can be difficult for a lot of people, but it's really important that you commit to it, that you realize that you want to do this, that this is something important to you. If it's not super important to you, if it's not really important to you to be able to attract beautiful women that you desire, then it's going to make it really difficult, because you're not really committed to it. But even if you do want to do that, just setting the intention yourself. Setting intentions is really powerful. So if you just set the intention that I'm committed to this, I'm really going to do this, then it'll be a lot easier for you to find the time. Excuse me. And it can be difficult, you know, to establish a new habit. So here's some tricks to establishing new habits. So one thing is to do it early in the day. The earlier you can do it in the day, the better, because later in the day, it's after work, you get tired, you've done something else, you have somewhere to go, there's only so much time to choose from at the end of the day, and you may not be able to get it in. In fact, I find with people, and myself included, it's very difficult to do any kind of practice at night. I may be randomly once in a while able to do it, but to do it every day is extraordinarily difficult. I've never really been able to do that. So doing it early in the day is important. That's why most people who have a practice, most people who do yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong or meditation, they usually will do it right after they get up in the morning. So either right when they wake up, maybe they'll take a shower first and then do it, maybe they'll brush their teeth first and then do it, but it's got to be right at the beginning of the day. That's the time to do it. That's a really important trick. It's not really a trick, but you got to do it early in the day, or you're probably not going to do it. The other one is to tie it to something else. And as I mentioned, getting up, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, these are things that everyone has to wake up, right? But most people will brush their teeth or shower in the morning. Is tie it to one of those so that every day you do it at the same time. Not like, well, today I'll do it after I woke up, and tomorrow I'll do it after my shower, and then I'll do it after breakfast the next day. Then it's going to be, you're not establishing a pattern, you're not establishing a habit. So you want to do it every single day at the same time. So always right after I brush my teeth. Always. So you just, and then it'll get ingrained, and that's just an example, by the way, just whatever time works for you. I tend to do mine, I do one of the big meditations like right after I wake up before I've done anything else. So, and that works for me. It might work for you to do it after the shower. I used to do that years ago. Just, you know, and you can experiment in the beginning, move it around and see which time works for you, but you need to settle on one and then do it at that time. So, and it'll still take some time. It'll take a month, 2 months, 3 months until it really ingrains and becomes a habit, becomes something that you just do every day. And then at one point you'll realize you don't even think about it. You just do it, and it doesn't seem like any work or anything else. You're just used to it. It's just part of your life like anything else. And it'll be easier than easy. You know, it'll just happen. You won't even have to think about it. So that's what stage you want to get to with any practice. And for like grounding and doing releasing, especially grounding, it's important to do it at some time like that. And it's also good to set up a pattern like this with going out and doing approaching. If you do it after work every day, you know, before you go home, you know, that can be a good time. At lunch, I know I've known a couple of guys that went out at their hour-long break at lunch, went out and did approaching during that. Or doing it if you're at work from home, going out after lunch and doing some approaching, or going out before dinner, or going out before you go to the gym. But it's good to try and do it, you know, like always before you go to the gym, or always before you know, have lunch, or after you have lunch, so that you establish a time. That's if you're going out during the day. And it's actually easier to do that way than going out at night. If you already have an established pattern where you're going out to bars and stuff, then that's easy. You can go out to the bars just as you normally do, as long as you do that on a regular basis, and then that should work too. So really the tips are, do it early in the day, especially for all the internal work stuff. That should all be done early in the day. For the approach, it can be done early or later, depending on whether you're a night game guy or a day game guy. So, but it's good to keep it the same, especially at first. If you want to do both, kind of choose one of them to make your habit. You can always go out and do the other one in addition to that, but make sure you do the one you've committed to. And like I said, remember that it's important to set your intention and make a commitment that you're going to do this, that you're going to follow through. And if you do this, you'll find that you have the time. The time is there. Everyone has the time in their life. I have worked some really, really tough jobs in my life, you know, working 100 hours a week and being exhausted, and I started doing grounding in 2006, and I never missed a day. So I know people have difficult lives, and I know people have health problems, they have kids, you have 2 jobs, but even so, you can make time to do these things. You can make, you know, 7 minutes a day to do a grounding exercise. You might not be able to approach every single day, but, you know, 5 days a week, go out and do it. So you can find time. These are small bits of time. It's a huge payback for a very small investment. You know, just going to the gym takes an hour or 2, you know, minimum of an hour for anyone. In all these things combined take an hour. So, also when you start, try and start with just 1, 2 at the most, you know, unless you're somebody who can really just do a whole bunch of things at once. That's another tip. Just, if you're going to start out doing a practice, just do that one practice, get that one established. Once that one is just, you don't have to think about it, then, you know, put the second one in, you know, because that can be hard, unless this stuff is easy for you. But it isn't for most of us. So establish one of them first, then establish another one. So, and I know it's challenging, and it takes some commitment, and it takes some effort, especially at first. You got to get the ball rolling. It takes some willpower. So it's going to take you a little willpower, a little effort at first, but if you use the tips of doing it early in the day, tying it to another, I can't stress this one enough, tie it to another thing. It's got to be tied to the other one. It's got to be before or after something every single day at the same time. If you do that, you'll be able to do it. Because none of these things are longer than 15 minutes, or they don't have to be. You can go out, you can do them as long as you want. Any of them can be done for hours, but 15 minutes is the longest that you'll be committed to doing something. And some of them are only 7 minutes or 2 minutes, so that shouldn't be too tough. So remember those points. Remember to set the intention for your commitment. Remember to commit to it. Remember to do the inner stuff earlier in the day, especially. Remember to tie it to another thing. If you do all those things, you shouldn't have a problem. And you can put questions below. If you try this thing and you do it for 30 days and you're still having trouble, send me a message, comment below, and I will give you some other suggestions. And there's links below to the grounding exercise, to the release exercise, so you can start doing those right now. And remember to subscribe, and there should be some suggestions for a similar video at the end. See you next time.